Let's go, pal.
Let's go, pal.
Such a cute nose.
Ain't it though?
Ready to fuck some shit up? Woo! Ready to fuck some shit up?
Ready to fuck some shit up?
It's good to be back.
It's good to be back. What do you think, huh? Beard or no beard?
Beard! Such a cute nose!
All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another exciting episode of the Codec. We're joined by two very special guests today. We have Brian T. Delaney here and Courtenay Taylor. Welcome, guys. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Pleasure to be here.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. And as always, I'm joined by my amazing co-host, Young. Yeah?
What's up, everybody? It's Young here, and welcome to our interview with Brian Delaney and Courtenay Taylor. And you guys can tell I'm smiling a lot, and that's because we had a little conversation before this stream started, and they just made me laugh all throughout. So it's, I'm already feeling really hyped and happy. And just thank you so much for joining us. A lot of people are so excited about Fallout 4 and just your portrayals of the male and female protagonists. And I can't wait to dive into this interview.
Awesome. And of course, we are joined by a new presence on this interview. Unfortunately, Daly is having power issues, so he was not able to join us. But in his place, and I'm sure you guys will enjoy this, is our very own our very own Jen, who is part of a lot of interviews involving esports and stuff like that. But can you tell us a little bit about yourself before we get into this interview, Jen?
Just a little bit more on the esports side of things, mainly Call of Duty, commentating and interviews and things like that. And Daly got me on the show, so I'm super excited that my first interview is going to be with people from my favorite game from the Fallout series. So I'm like fangirling over here.
Right.
So
that sounds awesome. Well, we hope you guys will be able to have a good time here on this interview. We got some fantastic questions here to ask you. And of course, starting off, as usual, we have our amazing host here, Jan, leading the questions off. So take us away, Jan.
Sure thing. Now, before I ask my question, by the way, guys, go to Brian's Instagram, instagram.com/brian.t.delaney. He posted a picture of all of us, like a selfie. First, post on the Instagram. What an honor. Go there, check it out, and follow him, because he's got a lot of good stuff to post.
Absolutely.
Anyway, so
It took 20 minutes to figure out how to get it on there.
oh yeah, it took us quite a while, but
It's okay. We made it happen.
We made it happen.
That's all that matters.
5 people.
Exactly. And
all right. So for my first question, just this is something that I like to ask all of our guests. Can you just each tell us a bit about yourselves? So who's Brian? Who's Courtenay? How'd you guys get into voice acting, and how did you end up playing your roles in Fallout 4?
Well, I'm Courtenay.
If you didn't know.
I started out, I was managing a boxing gym, and I was going to theater school in San Francisco, and I applied for a program in New York. Mm-hmm. I had some vocal cord issues. I had some nodes at the time, but I didn't sound that much different than I do now. And I went in and did my classic and my contemporary monologues, and the guy slammed his book shut and was like, I can't even look at your application unless you go to the doctor. Your voice is terrible.
Oh, wow.
You'll never get theater.
The irony.
Yeah. And so I left in tears and went back to my voice and speech teacher at ACT, and she said, I think you have a cool voice. You should try voiceover. I didn't know what that was, so she sent me to a woman named Taylor Corbo, who was teaching voiceover classes, and I just loved it. As soon as I got behind the mic, I was like, oh, this thing is my thing. And it's like when you play a sport or something and you're like, oh yeah, this is my jam.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
I had spent a lot of time as a kid in front of the TV, singing jingles and memorizing lines from commercials and stuff.
Sure.
So my sister...
Can you imagine you singing "Bye Menon"? Can you do that? Never mind.
It's I just loved all commercials, and my sister used to make fun of me and call me commercial lady, and I would get really upset because. And then I started booking commercials.
And now she needs a Motrin.
And now I need a Motrin. It's an amazing Bare Minerals foundation, and
nice.
Which it is, and. So I started booking that, and I did that for a couple of years, and I wanted to get into video games, and everyone said, wow, you'd be great in video games. And I just couldn't get it. Was auditioning, and then a woman named Chris Zimmerman, who has given me all my opportunities in life, put me on a game. And
she's your mom too? No.
She's amazing. And she
Yes.
booked me on my first video game, she booked me on regular show, which is how I got in there. It's given me a million opportunities. I adore her. I owe her a lot. So it just kind of took off from there. And I think that the boxing stuff helped with the video game stuff.
Well,
And,
as long as you're powered by Taco Bell.
Oh yeah, what's that about? A lot of people were
Yeah, please
commenting
do.
about something about Taco Bell motherfucker or something like that.
Yeah, just what is that all about?
that was, I came into the booth, I had a double session. So a lot of the time when we're working, you'll have a session in the morning across town in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And then you'll have a session on the other side of town with about an hour to get to that session.
Right.
So eating is generally out of the question. You know, you'll say like, I don't drive a helicopter, and your agent will say, just try to get there. And you're like, okay. So I went to Taco Bell. I snarfed a bunch of Taco Bell, and I came in, and I was completely like, bleh. I was trying to get myself pumped up in the booth to do some stuff, and I, because I used to box, I shadow box a lot, and I'll you know, get real pleased. And so I was, you know, shadow boxing in the booth, and I started singing to myself, which I also do. And I said, yeah, because I'm a badass motherfucker. Powered by around and I
Oh man, is there a recording of that?
Oh, Bogdanov? Have you heard of him?
Who?
he's our voice director for the game.
Check his name, Kal-El, as in son of Jerome. Bogdanov, that's his name. He's Superman.
Wow.
It's his first name.
Yes.
He's been our voice director for 2.5 years, and he captured 2 very, very good outtakes, and that's the one that you heard.
Oh,
He's-
really?
Oh, okay.
Actually.
YouTube it. It's fantastic.
Oh, it's on
Oh,
YouTube.
it's, okay, yeah, I'll have to check that out.
Okay.
Definitely.
Oh, it's happening. Okay, awesome.
I'm
All right.
a badass mother effer. One time, which is hilarious because I generally eat really, really well and try not to eat fast food and stuff, and now I'm immortalized through outtake Taco Bell.
Hey,
So how did you eventually come to play the female protagonist? What events led up to this role?
I auditioned for it.
Oh, yeah?
You know, I auditioned for it. I got called back. I started getting a little nervous with the callback. I was like, "Oh, I think this is a thing." And then I got a call from my agent saying, "You got this, and it's a pretty big job. You should." You know, I was like, "Ah!" like how big are we talking? Like
that's the
for
sound
me,
I made too.
Yeah. You know, working on I've never worked on a game for that long. So when they were talking about, you know, potentially how long, and I don't think they even had any idea. I think she said, you know, it's going to be quite a few sessions.
Yeah,
To
quite a
me-
few.
Quite a
to me,
few.
I was
Quite a few.
like, 50 sessions, awesome. And then I walked in and they showed me the Bible.
Just the Bible.
The Bible.
The actual Bible. Go Bible.
Right, the show-
Swear an oath that you won't reveal anything.
they showed me the Bible, and I was like, oh, this is going to be a thing.
We're gonna be here a while.
So
That's awesome.
it came by it totally honestly. I had worked on Fallout New Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
I played some characters in that. But yeah, I had a great director in the booth who directed me for my initial audition, and I owe him a lot.
Wait, who was that?
It was Wes Gleason.
For Fallout 4?
He directed he was the director at Wade Morris.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Holy crap. Wow. Wes Gleason,
Yeah.
who, by the way, is a sought-after voice director
Yeah.
of a lot of wonderful things.
Wow.
And Wes Gleason.
Yeah.
I love
Wow,
that guy.
that's awesome.
That's awesome.
So Brian, tell us about you. Who are you? Who's Brian? And how'd you get into voice acting? How'd you end up playing the male protagonist in Fallout 4?
Well, I, you know, my wife and I moved here back in 2005, and I thought I would like make a go at being on a movie, in movies or on television.
Sure.
And I had pipe dreams of wanting to be kind of like, you know, Bruce Willis in Die Hard, but funny kind of thing.
Okay.
And it didn't work out because I like Taco Bell. And,
Don't we all?
but I putzed around. I worked at like a video store when they existed, by the way.
Right. Good times.
And my wife, we came out here with like not a lot of knowledge, not a lot of anything. We made a go of it. And my wife, who's the smart one, she got a job at a talent agency just to pay the bills. It wasn't even a strategic move, but she got a job at CESD Talent Agency.
Wow.
Go CESD. And they're pretty awesome and amazing and wonderful and great. And when she first got the job there, by the way, it was one of those places in West LA, down the street. Oh, by the way, to bring up Die Hard, it's down the street from what was the Nakatomi building in Die Hard.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow.
That's the spot. So down the road from Bruce Willis's Nakatomi Plaza is on Santa Monica Boulevard is the agency. And it's this building that's like all marble office building with like skylights with indoor palm trees and like shiny floor kind of thing. So she was really intimidated. But she got the job. She came home and she says, "Don't ask, because they're way out of our league." Okay, I wasn't gonna, but okay. And after 4 months of answering phone calls of like regular actors that are like, wow, these people are real, regular people. Some of them, my husband could hopefully, he would die for some of these auditions. So she approached the commercial department, on-camera commercial department, to take me on. They did.
Oh, wow.
And the next department over is the voiceover department.
Oh,
and
wow,
okay. My wife from work.
Wow.
And they kind of get to know me.
And he started speaking in a different voice every second.
That didn't happen for a while, though. I was kind of nervous and intimidated by the place. But they're real cool, real down-to-earth people.
Darling,
they're
I've
awesome.
come to pick you up.
I know. And they were really cool. So one day, one of the agents at CESD, Kathy Lizio, crosses the hallway with my wife. They were just, going in opposite directions. And my wife, Rebecca, says, "Hi, Kath." And Kathy goes, "Oh, hi, Rebecca." And then she continues to walk, turns around and says, "What is Brian going to read for our department? The voiceover department."
Wow.
And my wife goes,
"Now."
Whatever you said. So she comes home and she says, "Don't F this up. But I want you to audition for the voiceover department." And I was just like, "Oh, okay." So I spent like 2 weeks putting together like this crap, what I think is a crappy audition, but it was good enough to get me a shot at working with.
Yeah, sure.
Right.
I did a Yoda. I did. And it's funny, it was
That's
like
the outtake you want.
I know.
Yes.
It was Yoda.
Get on that.
It was Yoda. It was Han Solo.
Oh, wow.
So you're a Star Wars fan.
Like it was all these impressions of like iconic characters.
So
and by
this
the way,
is what not to do.
don't
kids,
do that.
if
Yeah,
you
exactly.
want-
Yeah.
especially when Tom Kane has been Yoda forever.
Oh man.
They don't need Yoda. Like they don't
Yeah.
need Brian Delaney to do Yoda.
Right.
Could you do your Yoda for us right now?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Fair enough. I was
all right.
expecting that.
Have fun.
You do your Yoda. Do the female Yoda. This is Yoda's wife when he was only 842. Go. No. But it was good enough to get me activated. There you go.
Ooh, not bad at all.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Jim
And
Henson.
mouth is
Wow,
big.
Brian's been blown away.
I want to. That's like very, very sexual Jim Henson-y kind of. What?
Children watching. Your kids are watching this. Come on,
Boys,
you're ruining
boys,
this.
earmuffs.
Exactly. Earmuffs. Kids.
So anyway, I started going out, and after after CESD started working with me, it just became a matter of they send me the copy, they hear something in me that could fit, and the rest is history. I mean, fast forward to, let me put it to you this way.
Okay.
People on Twitter have been asking both of us, I think, how did it feel when you auditioned? How did it feel when you booked it? How did it feel getting this job and all this stuff? And it's just like, I've auditioned for player characters and not gotten them plenty of times.
Yeah.
And this was just, I didn't think I was going to get this one. I did the best I could with every audition that comes down the pipe.
Right.
And there's great booth directors over at CESD. The agents they give great feedback. And I got a call back like Courtenay did, and my agent, Pat Brady from CESD, booked me on the job. She called me up and she says, "Hey, Brian, you got a call back for this. Don't screw it up and call me back." It's just like, okay. And she was really awesome too with just giving me feedback on like, just play it cool. Just play it cool.
Sure.
And
So
that was 2.5 years ago. Yeah. July of 2013. We booked the job. I'm assuming you booked it in the month of July.
but you started first, I think.
Yeah, I think I started the 9th.
Started a couple of days. I think I started the 12th.
Yeah, I looked it up and it was the 9th of July, 2013.
Mhm.
And now we're talking to you fine people. in
Awesome.
2015.
That sounds amazing.
That's great. Yeah, we're
So
honored to have you.
It's exciting. I didn't know what was happening. When I showed up on the job, and I've told this story before, one of the audition lines was "War never changes."
Oh.
But I showed up at the job, and I asked Cal, "Hey, can you tell me what the name of the game is?" And he's just like, "Well, you know the line." And I'm like, "Right, the line, that line, of course that line." And I was like, I Googled it, and he kind of let the cat out of the bag, and I didn't realize what I was in for 2.5 years later. Like,
Wow.
it'll be a good number of sessions. My wife and I had another kid. We had a,
Jeez.
Wow.
I had a 3-year-old and an infant, and now I got a 6-year-old, a 3.5-year-old, and a toddler.
Oh my
And that's
God.
Oh, God.
been since I started the job, and it's been fantastic.
Wow.
Thank you
Wow.
to Bethesda and everybody there.
Don't feel like you're so dumb, because the place that we recorded actually has a Fallout banner over the door.
Okay.
And I would walk in that door and be like, I wonder what game this is.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
So yeah,
Thank you. It wasn't just me then.
no.
Thank the Lord.
I have a thing in my brain that like actually shuts off information. I think because I get a little freaked out about spoilers or letting
yeah, sure.
information.
Yeah.
So I call it like the earthworm technique, where I just kind of come in,
Oh,
eat
you
the
head
soil,
down?
keep going. I can just right through, and I just go like, okay, because I am terrified about like
Yeah.
letting something. So I think there is a little switch in my brain that just
Yeah.
goes, nope, don't.
Sure.
When in doubt, keep your mouth shut. Is what it happened.
Yeah. That's understandable.
We don't need to know. We don't need to know any. Keep an actor in the dark, by the way, is the motto of everybody above actor, because
Yeah.
actors like to talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's true. That is definitely true.
So the beautiful part about that is everybody at Bethesda gave Cal all the information that Cal would need
Mhm.
to direct us, all the context, all the relationships. In at least in my case, I can't speak for your sessions, but like how far away are they?
Mhm.
What do I want from them, kind of thing.
What?
Everything.
Wow.
I got any of that.
I got spatial
Oh,
relations.
really?
You just waved the cursor at me. It
Interesting.
Faster, quicker, more
Funny
love. Faster, better.
No, it was like at the United Nations, like, you have the earphones on and somebody's talking, and then your translator is,
Yeah.
as Cal was translating what we needed to know, and
I
Right.
see. Wow.
giving-
Yeah, he sounds great. I know,
Yeah.
Courtney, you approached me with bringing him on the show, and I would love to do that if we can maybe set that up one day,
and
because he sounds great. And
Yeah, that would be
definitely love
fantastic
to
to
talk
have
to him
him
about
on.
what that process was like. But
Absolutely.
yeah, he's really got the overview, because he worked on it for a couple of years before we started.
Yeah.
very cool.
He goes way back and can give you some good
Yeah.
Awesome.
insight.
All
Very
right
cool.
then. So moving along down the interview line, we'll have Jen with her next question on this one. Then I'll go after Jen.
Oh, okay. Well, so when getting into character for Fallout 4, I guess because you didn't see much of the game content at the recording stage, but you kind of got described like the scenarios and kind of what situation you're in. So after seeing the footage from E3 and beyond, was the game what you expected when you were filming the character?
It's funny, actually. Cal was so incredibly on point with giving information that when we were sitting watching the stuff in the Bethesda press conference,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh my gosh, look, that's exactly, yes, that's what I thought it was. They really had the sense of it, the feel, some of the ethereal quality to it in places that I really did imagine in my head. There were certain things that I hadn't imagined, so it got definitely filled in.
Mm-hmm.
But overarchingly, it's a testament to, I think, how good Cal is, that he was able to, without really making descriptions of things, 'cause
Right.
obviously he didn't know exactly what it was going to look like either, but was able to lead us in that direction, so that it felt very familiar to me when I was watching it. I was like,
Wow, that's very
Makes
cool.
sense.
Awesome.
That makes sense.
In my case, it wasn't necessary. It looked crisper and more and brighter than I thought, and I think I was hypnotized by the fact that I had played just a little bit of Fallout 3.
Yeah, which is
And very monochromatic and very dark, shadowy, and it was amazing. Like even with the reveal trailer, that first moment before the game trailer, or the game trailer at E3, I thought, wow, like I just remember that gold dome Beacon Hill thing.
Yeah.
First of all, it was so detailed, so bright, so shiny.
I know. Yeah.
Counterintuitive to what I had in my mind, only because of just the Fallout 3 color scheme and aesthetic.
Yeah. Yeah.
But also what was described by Cal. I mean, it was accurate, but I couldn't predict it would look that. It was this perfect juxtaposition of like desolation, destruction, and aftermath. This strange crispness, like this 200 years later, there's the air's a little cleaner.
Yeah. Yeah.
A little bit more, like literally and metaphorically, the smoke cleared, and it's this bright, vibrant world, like that. What's the robot called? The Protectron?
Yeah.
What was it called? What's the thing that looks like the Robbie the Robot walking?
Oh yeah. Oh man. What?
Yeah. The name escapes me again.
I was
name escapes me.
somebody on Twitter is going to answer the question.
Yes.
Okay. Good. Okay. Cool.
On Twitter are awesome, but I just the way the robot walked and the rust, just like the age and the rust, that kind of detail and that kind of it was.
Mr. Handy, by the way.
No. It is the Protectron.
One out on the wasteland.
It is the
Protectron. Yeah, it's the
It is
Protectron. Okay, people were saying Mr. Handy in the chat. I want to make sure that I was
Not the
getting,
floating one, the
clarification.
one that actually walks on two legs.
Oh, okay. So yeah. Then,
The one that guarded Megatime in Fallout 3.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I understand about that.
Protectron.
That thing, it was just the colors was just it was amazing. I mean, it was just crisp, and I could. It sounds goofy, I guess, but it's just like you can smell the world almost from the graphics.
Yeah, I know what you
I
mean. I know what you
Yeah.
mean.
Anyway, I didn't expect that. I didn't expect that level.
I actually
Yeah.
know where you're coming from. When I saw the trailer, I played a lot of Fallout 3, and so seeing Fallout 4, it was just that I guess there was this green filter to Fallout 3. Everything just looks ever so slightly greenish, like
Right.
radioactive or something.
Green, right.
Yeah, whereas Fallout 4 just looks like this vibrant post-apocalyptic world, which sounds contradictory, but it kind of works.
How did you feel, Young, when you saw it? Was it kind of like did it throw you back? How did you feel about it?
It did, because the trailer, the first thing you see, I think, is the pre-war stuff. It pans into the house, and everything is just this vibrant kind of 50-ish looking thing. And then it kind of shifts back and forth between pre-war and Great War. Right. But even the post-Great War stuff, the guy goes out the vault, and it's this lush, beautiful, yet destructive world. It's almost contradictory, but it struck me in a way. I was confused at first, but then the more I looked at it, I was like, this kind of looks like good. I don't know, it looks beautiful and crisp, like you said. I like it. Like it's weird, but I like it.
I hope maybe it's the same for you guys, but the gameplay trailer ages like wine. Like every time you see it, it's just you get intoxicated with the world. It's just like holy crap.
Yeah. It's very
notice
vibrant
new
looking.
things.
Yeah, you notice a lot of new things, and like for me when I played Fallout 3, like the first thing that stuck out to me was I don't want to call it the lack of color, but just like the overall tinge of color. Like Young said, there was kind of a green filter to it. But in this, when you watch the reveal for Fallout 4, you notice that there's a lot more. It's almost like they accessed a new set of color palette where they just decided, okay, we're going to use more greens and blues and stuff like that. And it really sticks out this time around. It makes it look like, I almost want to call it like beautiful desolation in some sense, which is, it looks really nice.
I called it hopeful desolation.
Hopeful desolation.
And
Nice.
And it's true because it has that kind of lonely feel to it, but the light is, and it's intentional. I actually was reading something about it, and they said that they wanted to change the palette, that they wanted to give it this idea of like, this has happened, and now this world is what you make of it. And so it is where it's a big open sky. There's potential, there's hope.
That's the feeling. I got a hopeful feeling out of it. Whereas Fallout 3, I was like, this is gone to hell. I mean, but with Fallout 4, it was like, okay, maybe they can make something out of this world.
Right.
It's interesting.
That being said, Fallout 3, I mean, I have to say there was not a nightmare quality, but like there was a mood to that.
Yeah.
To me, it's the difference between. I hope this isn't. I'm not this smart, by the way. I'm going to say something that's going to make me seem like I'm well read. I don't read really, but it's almost as if Fallout 3 had like a German expressionism kind of vibe to it, and Fallout 4 is like this. It's totally awesome. And it's just this new thing, this new. Never saw these colors happening, like you were saying, Ronan. Like access this new box.
Yeah,
exactly.
And it was fantastic. But like, there's a great quality to Fallout 3, but I think that there's going to be just an equally great quality to the vibrancy of Fallout 4.
Yeah,
it's a concept album. You know, it's the same band, like it's true. And that was that one package, and it's the same band playing the music. Yeah. So there's familiarity to it, but the concept album is a new concept. It's shifting.
And I don't know if this is just me, but to me it evoked like a slight Pixar-esque quality. I don't know if that makes sense. Like it, just the colorfulness and some of the facial features, even like it, the eyes look maybe a little bigger than they maybe would be on a normal. I don't know. It just evoked like a post-apocalyptic take of a Pixar movie. I don't know. That's
that's understandable.
Toy Story 4 is going to be Andy as the Vault Dweller. He's going to come out and he's going to find Bonnie. She's ghoulified. She has
Toy Story 4, starring the Vault Boy. You know, the little mini, the what's it called, the figurine thing comes to life, and he has his own adventure. Toy Story 4.
Fan film.
Oh God.
Characters.
Yeah.
I think that would be awesome.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. So for my question here, I was wondering, in which ways would this is directed to both of you? In which ways would you say that your roles in Fallout 4 differ from some of the roles that you've done previously in games? Like, for example, I know, Courtney, you've done the voice of Jack in Mass Effect. And I know, Brian, you've done some voice work in Batman and stuff like that. So I was kind of wondering, in what ways would you guys would say that this role differs in that sense?
I think up until this point, I've had the opportunity to play some great sort of secondary characters in games. I certainly loved the fact that Jack had such a rich backstory and they gave her an arc. I felt like I would have liked to have lived in Jack for a longer period of time.
Yeah.
But the constraints of a game is that, not everybody gets, this is the first time that I've gotten to I feel like live through a game. And granted, it was, a luxurious 2 years. But that this character is probably the closest to me, and that a lot of different moves. Some of the characters I played have been a little bit more. Not that they have less dimension, but you see smaller pieces of those characters.
Yeah.
And this one, it felt like life, and getting to just be put in a lot of amazing situations, but still having the opportunity to find the truth in those situations and not have it be completely fantastical. There's a lot of realism, a lot of grit, a lot of humor. And so it was really the first time I got to roll around in a character for a long period of time. So that was a real luxury, and I so appreciated that.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
As for me, if you ever wanted to know what Delaney would do under every circumstance in Fallout, Bethesda covered it. Similar to Courtney. What would Delaney do? What would Delaney do? It was, as Courtney was saying, it's just I've never got to voice a role that was more myself. It's not even more myself. It's just Cal would tell me what happened.
Yeah.
Circumstances. This is the line. Okay. That's how I would do it.
Right.
They're not fantastic circumstances. They're science fiction fantastic circumstances, but they're rooted. Every line possible is rooted in reality, and it's filtered through how Courtney or myself would say that. With certain exceptions. There are some great lines in there that fulfilled a dream for me, that you get to say, like, Bruce Willis-y kind of Die Hard. Fuck some shit up. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But there's also slice of life lines that are necessary to move the story forward, to move the character forward.
Right.
Your character, by the way. It's you. It's not us. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it was just. It was kind of a beautiful synergy between you have this voice character and it's filtered through these two performers, but the degree of choice that you guys have, it's pretty amazing that they covered as many bases as they did.
Yeah.
I mean, there's the line that's kind of like, I mean, it runs the gamut of, no, fuck you, to like quiet. Is that cool? Did I spike your levels there?
Oh no, that was
Totally.
beautiful. No, we appreciated that very much.
I think I saw Jen just go, oh.
I just laughed.
Guys, I'm wearing earphones. They're called, okay.
Ow.
Sorry, and I'm so sorry.
Wait, what? I can't hear what you said. What?
I just made 3 hosts deaf. No.
I'm reading out of there.
But
You're-
the-
oh my God.
Okay. 3 casualties. But there's that line, but there's also these quiet lines that are so you couldn't fit real. You understand? They really are covering everything, and they allowed us to really stretch our legs and to say, I can't believe they. I'm still sometimes.
Sorry, Brian. Just one second.
Great
You're
opportunity.
cutting.
I had a job of this magnitude is never.
If you guys can give it just 1 minute here, you guys are kind of breaking up on.
Yeah, you're breaking up a bit on your end. Just
a little bit.
You-
But yeah, so to move along with the questions, I know that we kind of got a bit sidetracked there with the technical issues. How much time do you guys have left? Or you still guys? You're still
you're good. Okay. Where were we? You were Brian, because you were talking about. I forgot what it was. You were in the middle of.
Yeah. Were you listening?
Yes, I was, but the problems kicked in. And...
Yeah.
I'm messing with you. I don't remember either. And I was,
Okay, cool.
That's
all right.
That's all right. We'll move along in the questions then. I guess we can start with Yog's next question.
Sure. Yeah. So you talked about we talked about how your characters will be sort of us. But do you think that at the same time there will be aspects of these characters that are sort of that make them defined characters? Because I know we get to customize them and whatnot, but now that they're voiced, I feel as though maybe some of your, I guess, personalities and elements of yourselves will sort of be in these characters, and in that sense, maybe they will be defined somehow as characters that you can still role play as, but maybe not quite as much as you would if maybe they weren't voiced. Do you think that's the case? Does the player still get to be these characters, or are we playing, I guess, customized versions of defined characters?
I'll put it to you this way. I mean, and this is the best.
Okay.
This is the best way I can communicate it.
Sure.
It's as defined as the world is defined.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
The
that's
environment-
So deep.
The environment, you don't get to customize. You don't get to remake where the ruins of Boston's landmarks are. I mean, you don't get to define, necessarily, unless the modders probably will. But you get to define. The sky's still blue. The Boston layout is still the Boston layout.
Mm-hmm.
They, Bethesda designed the game, customized the color scheme. They kept the fact that obviously there's a male and female protagonist, but just because they made it more specific doesn't mean it's any less you than any previous iteration of the game.
I see.
Conversely, there are elements of our personalities that do shine through, but interestingly enough, that was taken into account when Todd Howard and the team not just made the decision, but the people they chose to cast.
Right.
One of the things that he said on the stage, which I was surprised by, and it was interesting. I went home and talked about it with my wife, and she thought the same thing. Was when Todd Howard turned to me. We were on the stage at E3 the moment we were announced, and I wasn't like ready, but I was kind of ready, and I was just like, "Holy crap!" But when he kind of said, "I don't know if you know, Brian, but we went through a lot of just people, auditions, callbacks,
Sure. Yes.
different people, and they kind of like the I guess the way we kind of, what he shared was they had a whole different slew of people, whole battery of different faces, ages, races, sizes, everything. And they had to find a voice, those specific to us as people and performers, that could fit as many as possible. And that's what I can say from. So there is specificity, but also your identity. As much as what we say and how we said it, and the recordings that they chose are definitely set, it's still you because you get to choose what we say.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it sounds like it would be a constricting thing, but in a way, if you choose to look at it this way, and this game is all about choice, player freedom.
Yes.
If you choose to look at it this way, this is more freeing. This is deeper emotional possibilities.
Yeah,
I see. Yes.
Todd Howard was going for. So how we are defined as, you know, the voices of the player character, whichever one you choose, it's as defined as the environment, the sky. You know, there's only a set number of, you know, creatures that you can kill.
Sure.
That's true.
It's not like suddenly there's a Jabberwocky that you get to decide what.
Right.
So I hope that answers your question.
No, yeah, that does. That's a great answer, I think. I think that because I myself, you know, I love role playing as these characters, so I also initially was concerned, and I think what you said though, like really sort of brought a new angle to these characters and the decision to add these voices. So I'm like more excited now for to play Fallout 4 and experience.
Can I add one more aspect?
Yes, please.
Sure.
I love sharing this because it was so challenging. I don't know how it was for Courtney. I'd love to hear what your take was on this. But when we were doing some of the lines, when you have a text box to choose 3 to 4 choices, you get to choose on its face what it is. And for instance, at the beginning of Fallout 3, when you're 9 years old and the girl says, "How do you like the party?" you can choose to lie in the first option, say something really sweet, or say something kind of ambivalent.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I thought it was interesting the way Cal directed us, and he got this from the people on the horn from Bethesda, whether it was Will Shen or Mark Lampert or whoever. Like there's times where you will choose to deliver a line the way either Courtney or I deliver it, where it is a lie, but it's not always for malicious purposes.
Right.
It's not. It could be lying to somebody, and this is a possibility. Don't quote me on this definitely, but I'm going to share a little bit, a tiny window into one of our sessions. Was okay, Bri. This is what Cal said to me. All right, Bri, we got to do one of those sessions. That's going to be a bit of a challenge, but I know we've done it before. We can do it again. Where like we got to do two choices for each of the choices, kind of thing, and we got to see what works. Where you got to lie and you mean it. And you got to lie, and you got to have some sort of kind of like, you got to lie to tell them to do something they don't want to do, you know, because they need to do it. And if they have the real information, they'll fall apart.
It's like parenting, right?
It's like parenting. And that's the choice the player, the gamer, gets to make those choices. And that kind of depth of character and that kind of depth of choice in player freedom can really be achieved when you have the nuance of a player voice. You know what I mean?
Yeah, okay. I get that.
That
That's a very interesting angle. Yeah.
No, that makes a lot of sense.
Do you think that the fact that the protagonists are parents, a husband and a wife, that somehow, I guess, plays into who they are, how maybe they say certain lines, that's a big part of it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, what do you think?
Well, I'm actually not a parent, so I thought it was interesting that they got someone who has 500 children, and then, but the circumstances, the overarching themes of, love, anything in any story, love, loss, hate, envy, whatever it is. I mean, you can put whatever those that, I don't have children, but I definitely know what it's like to love fiercely. And so I may not have been, and there are things in my own life, like as a child or as an adult, that play into that, that dovetail easily with some of the things. So even if it's interesting because I thought, oh, well, I'm not a parent. Is that going to be weird? But
you're an actor.
But I'm an actor, but
yeah.
Also, like I didn't really think about you can take the emotion that you want from not necessarily being a parent, but from being a child in that situation, from being somebody watching, having to see that situation and not be able to do anything about it. Like there are a lot of different perspectives that will bring you to the place that you need to get to without it necessarily being like, I lived through this, I have this every day.
Yeah.
I think the distinction is in the writing in this game
Absolutely.
that allowed for the kind of emotional journey. I mean, like some of the sessions were very intense.
Wow.
And I walked out and was like, I have to go home. They gave us, it was the closest thing to what, I can't even say like from acting in a movie, but from like living in a movie.
I see.
That's what it felt like. It was living inside a movie. When you watch a movie on a big screen, you get that sense. And I think from the limited amount of on-camera acting I've done, it's because it's not linear. You're not getting that whole sense. And games are not necessarily linear either, but I definitely felt like I had lived.
Mm-hmm.
I've done this too in on-camera stuff where I've had to go home and go to bed, but it was intense, and the writing that they gave us to work with really gave, I can only, it's this imagining all the time of like, I just got to stretch in any direction.
Sure.
Yeah.
I see.
Incredibly, like cathartic and intense and freeing. I walked out at the last session being like, all right, like I hope we did something.
You left
meaningful.
it all out on the field.
I threw it all up.
Wow.
That's great to hear, because I think there is like in Fallout 3, for example, I guess choosing the dialogue, I guess you could imagine how this character would say it, but I think if you had a voice of, with professional voices like yourselves to really emote these lines, I think that could have an emotional effect that maybe you didn't have in previous games, and I think that is something to look forward to.
Yeah, absolutely.
About the voice protagonist thing, not to bang on about it, but I mean, I remember watching like Monsters Ball, and seeing those characters. I just use that as an example, but like we watch people and we watch voice protagonists all the time in movies, and they have profound effects on us.
Yeah.
You walk out of a movie, I mean, like.
Can I share?
Yes.
One of my favorite movies, and it's not like a great movie, but it's Liam Neeson makes it a great movie. And okay, let me say this in no way, this isn't a connection to Fallout 4.
Okay.
It's accidental. But Taken, every parent's Rambo fantasy. I watched that movie, and I don't sound like I have a very particular set of skills.
Yeah.
But I watched that movie, and I am that dad. I don't even have daughters.
Uh-huh.
But I watched that movie, and I'm that guy. And I make that, I would have done that too, Liam. Awesome. But the guy with the things and your electric, yes, that's awesome. But I'm not necessarily that character, but I go on that ride. And let me tell you something, as a father, he killed every single person that assaulted, touched, or was in the same room.
Some of us haven't seen Taken. Thanks.
There's 3 of them, by the way. You should have by now. So that's kind of how I would answer that. Actually, Courtney inspired me to, because I thought of like with a voice protagonist. Well, there's a voice protagonist in Taken, and you don't get to decide what Liam Neeson does.
Right.
There's a voice protagonist in Fallout 4, though. And you damn well get to decide what the fuck Liam Neeson does.
So yeah,
It's not.
I know what you mean, yeah.
A way, I think it's an added bonus, and I'm not I don't really have a lot of experience with the experience of not having a voice protagonist, but I feel like in many other art forms, we get really involved. Everybody watched Friends, and they were our friends. They were in our living rooms. They were with us. We weren't necessarily, we were one of them. It was that idea, and I think that this just gives an extra dimension for you to actually join in the action.
Mm-hmm.
And as an added element for Fallout 4, and to make a comparison to another game, which it's not necessarily, it's just a matter of preference and taste. But with Mass Effect, for instance, which you were in, just coincidentally, when you choose to be a male or a female, you're still Commander Shepard. Either way, your Commander Shepard is a female, your Commander Shepard is a male.
Yep.
Shout out to your friend Mark Meir, right?
And my friend Jennifer Hale.
And Jennifer Hale.
Yeah.
So this game, however, it's as different as, are you going to choose to be this parental unit or this parental unit? And that's an added dimension as well. And I say this, but I'm not saying this because great way to sell the playability of the game. You can really play. Kal-El Bogdanov says it best. He's going to have to play at least minimum of twice, probably 14 times. You know, like the whole game, if you play as the female protagonist, there are elements that are distinct to the female protagonist, and vice versa. And you'd be doing yourselves a disservice if you didn't play at all. Not that it's not like, please play with me. But it's one of those things where both characters are in the same family. It's as different as if I'm going to play in a post-apocalyptic adventure as my mother or my father, not one person as a female or a male.
I see what you mean. Yeah. It's actually like two entities rather than one entity with possible different genders. I see what you mean. Wow. Yeah.
And very
That's really cool.
Yeah. And this is just story we're talking about. We haven't even gotten into like the variety of gameplay options you have. Just the story alone warrants like multiple playthroughs, and then you have the perks and all the that's sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's a lot to look forward to, really. At the end of the day.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear what you guys think of it.
Oh.
Somebody asked on something or other, pick one. I don't know. It was Reddit, Twitter, something. I'm still struggling to navigate it. You say you should do an AMA, which I had to look up what that was. You should do a Let's Play. You should do this. You should do that. You should answer questions. And everybody else is like, hey, wait, we're going to be in hibernation for 4 weeks. We don't need him to do anything. From November 10th to at least December. All of us are going to be playing this game. So I can't wait for December because I can't wait to hear what the Fallout community thinks, because I know Courtenay is too. We're really proud of this work. We're proud that we got to work with Bethesda and everybody involved. So we're just excited that you guys are going to play it. That's all.
I hope we can have you two back after the game launches and we can really talk about these characters, hopefully.
I just want to say, if you work for Costco, like batten down the hatches the week before the 10th, because I tell you, get snacks, get water. Are going to be in your house for a long time. It's like 200 hours of, it's a lot of bang for your buck. Yeah. And I certainly will be. Everyone keeps asking me, like, are you going to play as Brian? I'm like, oh hell yeah, I know what it's like to play as me. I'm going to. But then you get to go through as both, and you will get a different experience because they picked two distinctly different actors with different points of view and different attitudes, and so hopefully you'll get 400 hours of game time. So start racking up those vacation days.
Oh yeah, I'm planning it out.
It's already planned out.
Yeah.
Snacks, water, first. Let's do this.
I know, right?
All right. Jen, your next question.
Okay, so I guess talk about the players, female and male. So we've seen in Fallout 3 and New Vegas how playing as a female. I always played as a female. There were certain female advantages in the game. So like in New Vegas, you got to kill Benny because you had sex with him. You have sex with him and kill him in his sleep. So maybe in Fallout 4, do you see any kind of female or male advantages? Maybe without, obviously you guys can't spoil anything, but any advantages playing as a female or maybe a male that in the game?
Honestly, I can't even think of that.
Okay, first of all, here's the thing: is that I actually don't know because I didn't sit in on any of his sessions, and I'm not privy to anything. So they could actually have said we could be lying. We could have done two totally different games.
Do you think that it's fair to talk about that thing that Cal tried to drive us away from being? Forgive me. I'm going to
please. No, go ahead.
See if I break NDA and I never work with Bethesda ever again.
Yeah, no, we don't want to get you in trouble, please.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay. Courtenay says I shouldn't say it, so I'm going to keep stum.
I'm
going to listen to my vote life.
Anytime you have a question, should I do this around an NDA?
So I shouldn't take my pants off and run around the room. Okay.
Oh, damn.
I does not include that, but my NDA, my wife's NDA says no.
Okay.
My house, and she's like, not with my husband. So
Yeah.
there's that.
I'm not going to.
Pants.
I know, right?
So your pants are an NDA.
What I couldn't say, I'll sum it up this way.
Are you going to say it?
I'm going to say it. No. There were aspects of, as the process went along, there were aspects of what Courtney brought to the game, the role, that are inherently Courtney Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
That as it goes along, and Cal has testified to this on other interviews, so I think I can say it, standing on my voice director's word, that it affected a little bit of when Bethesda got it back, and over the course of 2.5 years, there may be, Jen, something that you're talking about, but we're not aware of it. But they drove us apart personality-wise and skill-wise. For instance, I don't know if I should say.
See, don't do this, dude. Don't.
Oh, sorry. I'm not going to say
okay.
more.
Let
Jen,
me
I'm
recap.
so sorry.
Let me recap. Here's the situation. Two different personalities in the game. I'm impatient. It's by design that they picked two people that obviously have very different personalities, and I know not of the gameplay. I honestly don't. I cover my ears when it comes to that kind of stuff anyway. But there is a distinction. I don't know how far that goes, but I definitely know that safely to say that you can play as a woman and you will have a different experience.
You will have a different experience.
Wow.
As, you know,
That's the closest.
Brian's sweet and goofy. So game and comb people's hair, you're gonna play as Brian.
Okay.
If you wanna kick some ass, have emotional depth, have a great experience, and you can only pick one.
Be a Taco Bell motherfucker. You want to play the female.
That was probably the longest non-answer ever given.
I
Jen. But Jen, that's a great question. But I think you'll see it, and we'll all discover it. Even Courtney and I discover that.
I'm gonna be as the female and probably do that again.
There's a whole voice match for Courtney Taylor that
I
did
know,
have
right?
sex with Benny lines. Sorry, kids, go to sleep. Nap time.
Earmuffs.
Yeah.
All right. So for my next question here, I'm going to skip over a question of mine because you guys kind of answered that as we were going through the interview. But my question is, what sort of knowledge did you guys bring from your previous roles in games, or just in any one of the games you guys have done that you felt like would be fitting in a sense to bring these characters to life in Fallout 4?
More shedding things in my case. Stripping away, actually, in my case. But sorry, go ahead.
No, what do you mean?
When Cal, in my case only, like I said, we didn't sit in on each other's sessions ever. We were never in the same room together when we recorded lines.
Yeah.
Just one. So I can't speak for her, but Cal, it's weird. Cal drew from, you know what? Can you answer so I can articulate it?
Okay. We'll get back to you, yeah. I got you.
Totally fine. We'll come back.
You answer.
So you're asking what we brought from other characters?
Yeah, like what sort of knowledge or the experiences you've had with other characters that you brought or learned from to bring these characters to life in Fallout 4.
Well, I think it's fair to say from there is it's a huge experience, and so I've been lucky enough to play some characters with some pretty good backstories. So I knew going in that if there was going to be some heavy lifting, that to have that kind of stuff primed. I think a lot of the stuff that we do as voice actors is not necessarily in the booth. It's kind of gathering stuff as you go, and then when you get to the booth, you kind of open this bag and go, "This is gonna work. This is gonna work. This is gonna work." So everything from just emotional range, I think it's been helpful to play Jack, who had the backstory of the century. I mean,
oh yeah.
After you play that, you're just like, bring it on. But also I think truly in this game, and I hope it shows, but very much the stuff that I learned in acting school. Very much trying to keep an overarching objective, kind of keeping over a long period of time. It was great. Bethesda actually would have us come in and record like 4 days in a row and then we would not record for a few weeks. And so instead of, I think a lot of the value came from the way that they laid things out, because it wasn't like coming in and going, oh, okay, I haven't played this character in 3 months, or a day here and then a break for a week and a half and a day. We really did get to get our feet underneath us and kind of run with it for longer periods of time and then take a break.
Yeah.
And so it felt easier to come back to.
I see.
And then just technically speaking, it was, I think just because of the scope of the game, I felt like my acting training came into it more so than maybe coming in for, a day as like a fun character with a crazy accent, seems a little bit more of a caricature or something, which are also amazing. But this, it felt more cinematic. So that those skills and classes that I've taken came in handy.
Awesome.
Are you ready now?
I'm ready now.
He's ready now.
All right.
All right.
Let's do this.
Ready to go. I'm ready to go. Do this. What was the question?
Yeah, that was good.
So, when I said stripping away, Courtney actually hit on it, it's actually great that you generously went first.
I don't
appreciate
A stripping away, it was.
You told me to.
So,
That's true. Okay.
so the stripping away I was alluding to was, it was this strange dichotomy in my head. When I got the role, even when I auditioned for it, I decided to do it. Oh wow, this is such great writing. I can hear the music in the words. I'm going to do it this way. I was literally like when you said how much of yourself or how close to yourself. I just did it the way I would do it if I was in those given circumstances, right? And it was kind of exciting. I booked the job. I show up, and there's obviously those lines that are the classic video game hero lines, and of course there's the great iconic, war, like. And there's these gritty lines that have that larger than life, super fantastic badassery to them, right? But I kind of teased a little bit, and it was led by Cal. He's been when it comes to like knowing what the given circumstances are, knowing what the background is. Cal was my lighthouse, man. He was awesome, and he was always on point. But he was able to drive it down to so much reality and such a real emotional place that even though there are choices, and this is for all the people that want to play as the borderline sociopathic, narcissistic, psychotic nihilists out there. There's something for you too. But there's also choices in there where I strip away any sort of, and it wasn't even necessarily in characters I've played before or things that I learned when I trained in acting or anything. It was just like you have a preconceived notion of what video game hero, epic hero sounds like. You're not necessarily going to hear that in this game. There's choices in it, but there's also the real grounded choice. I'll share with you this. I can't give you the whole story, obviously, but I sat down on a couch next to Emil Pagliarulo, the design and writing lead on this game.
Oh.
At right after was it E3? Yeah, it was right after E3 one night. And he was just like, yeah, what you and Courtney brought is so interesting. It wasn't what we expected, but it was what we needed. And the way you were as a father and the way she was as a mother isn't necessarily what we thought, but man, you should hear it in game.
That's
and
awesome.
I was just like, holy crap. Like it really was a beautiful collaboration, and they were really open to it, and they already started from a great place. Because like Courtney said, the writing is stupendous. And I knew that from the audition because I heard the music of the lines, and I'm like, first of all, I mean, I'm from the East, and Bethesda's based in the East, and I didn't know if I'm convinced that's some sort of uncoincidental coincidence. Like I can hear the PAL, the Let's Go Pal.
Oh yeah.
That's kind of riddled in the copy. I don't know if it was for your sessions too. I'm sure it was, but it's just like it's a very kind of Boston, New York, Philadelphia, Washington vibe.
Sure.
All right, Chief, let's do this thing. All right, pal. Hey, buddy, get over here. Let's go, man. It's just like I can just hear it. And I guess they heard it too.
That's how Emil talks too.
That's how Emil talks. He's from Southie, by the way. Emil Pagliarulo.
He's the real deal.
He's the real deal, Holyfield. He looks Irish, Italian.
I actually, just to recap and finish up this question,
Yeah.
I did come in with a lot of. I had an idea about how I wanted to play her. Like it was definitely like a a movie in my head, and that got tossed out really fast.
Oh, really?
It was not, like it wasn't the idea of something. It was about like, what would you do?
I see.
Oh, yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, oh,
Wow.
okay. I was thinking, more kind of, I don't know, like, Wonder Woman-y kind of, like something sort of iconic, like there was this thing, like, and you're like, and they were like, no.
I see. Huh.
Wow.
Interesting.
It's
So
crazy.
I did have to drop a few grand thoughts I had.
Yeah.
Man.
Oh, man. That's
I'm really
crazy.
hyped now.
Yeah,
So
I am
hyped.
too.
I want to
Jeez.
listen to your performances already. Damn it.
All right.
Time.
All right. Young, essentially. Next
Oh,
question.
okay. So I was gonna ask if you guys worked together at all, but you guys said I guess save for like one line, you guys were not in anything at all together. Even the pre-Great War stuff where you're husband and wife, you guys really, that was all separate as well.
Right.
Interesting.
Huh.
About halfway through.
December 2014 we met, but we started in July 2013.
So
What?
2/3 of the way through we met.
Interesting.
And, yeah.
Yeah. Never worked with her. I never worked with her before. And I never worked with her on one session on Fallout
He's
4.
like, and I'll never work with her again.
Out of her honey wagon, she was such a diva.
Wow. No, but I mean,
Voice rest.
You bring up a good point, because, forgive me, was it you?
no.
Ryan,
Yeah.
You Young, that said, even in those pre-war scenes, is that, who said that?
Well, yeah.
That was young.
I think it's funny that you say that, and that's a testament to two entities. Kal-El Bogdanov, who is one of the greatest scene partners in my life,
Oh my God.
right? Because he has to be her or anybody, any NPC in the game. My wife, every NPC, male or female, anybody in the game, Cal has played them all.
That's
Wait,
right.
really?
He feeds us all of
And
our
he
dish
feeds
lines.
us all the dish lines. So it's a testament to Cal's direction and support. And it's also a testament to the animation, the programming, the editing of the game, the editing of the scene, because that's Bethesda. So between those two entities, it may. I remember another YouTuber was just mystified. You guys really work well together. The chemistry that you had in those scenes was really palpable. Like, how often did you work together? Never. You know what I mean? And we brought what we brought, but I hope, it's a collaboration, and they really, really wove it together really beautifully, I think.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
And it's true though. I mean, when I met Brian, I was like, oh, okay, yeah. Like, it was going to be. I don't know if they picked that or whatever. I mean, Cal was always like, you're going to love Brian, and I was like, we'll see.
What an asshole.
I did. I feel like, again, it was kind of like the looking at the reveal trailer and being like, oh, this is familiar. Like, I met him and I was like, what's up, dude?
Yeah.
Probably less, wife and husband, more just kind of stuff.
sure.
Easy. Like, I had already gone out and had a beer with him. So
Wow. That's crazy because you guys.
That's Bethesda. We didn't make any of those decisions,
That's crazy. I mean,
They hear what they hear, and then they
Yeah.
make their.
wow, you guys look like you've worked like forever. Just
Yeah, like you've known each other for years or something.
seriously, you guys seem like best friends. It's amazing. Yeah.
Aw.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Now going off on that, did you guys? So you two didn't work together much, or barely.
At all.
Did just not? You guys said like a single line. Really, not even a single line. Okay, so not at all. You guys didn't even work.
What I was referring to is I snuck a peek. She allowed me to sit in for like 10 minutes on
Oh.
on the last day,
on the last day of work.
Okay, that's what you meant. Okay, gotcha. So not at all. So you guys didn't work together at all. Were there other actors who played other characters you worked with?
Nope.
Really interesting.
That's crazy.
Every actor.
When you play the game, when you hear a line, that was an isolated take in a booth with the actor. And there's a lot of great. I only know of 2 or 3 other than us two, but there's a lot of great talent on this game, I hear. And they all brought alone in the booth their performers.
Wow.
I know I'm not telling you any, but you're going to be stoked.
You're going to be stoked, apparently. She knows more than I do, so.
Huh.
But
Interesting.
yeah, everybody was alone in the booth. We should give shout outs to not just Cal Bogdanov, but Bennett Smith.
Dan, are you talking about engineers?
Voice directors too.
Voice directors.
Phil Bach,
Mm-hmm.
Chris Fiella,
Mm-hmm.
Brenda. What's Brenda's last
I don't
name?
know Brenda's
I'm
last
sorry,
name.
Brenda.
Brenda,
I never
I
worked
don't
with you,
know.
but you have a lot of love at
I worked
in
with
the
her,
Fallout
and she
4
was
game.
awesome, and I can't remember her last name, and I'm sorry.
But it's a testament to all those voice directors who worked on Fallout 4. They directed or elicited or just sat back and let the actor do their thing on all these lines. And it's when you hear it, it's not like you can get 20 people together and do the Fallout play.
Right.
I know that's
I know
silly.
what you mean.
It's logistically impossible at this point.
Yeah, that's understandable.
So
there's
everybody was alone.
there's a lot of people that worked on this, a ton of people that worked on this, not just everybody. I mean, there's always a million people that work on games, but this one was a ton of moving parts. So big ups to all the. There was a bunch of writers that sat in on our sessions. There was multiple directors working with the cast. There is a nice juicy cast. So
Engineers.
multiple engineers.
Dan Montez. Mark De La
Mark.
Fuente, Dave Atherton, Kelly Buckle.
Yeah, and so like, it was
Rial.
literally like this orchestration is huge.
Wow.
So
It's Bethesda, and that's the thing. Bethesda's a relatively. I was taught. Bethesda's a relatively small outfit there in Maryland, and they're only like 100 people or so.
Yeah.
And they brought on at least another 50 or 100 of them, and everybody had their job. No time was wasted. I mean, they took their time on this puppy.
Yeah, they did. We waited quite a while.
Yeah, we sure did.
we only do really little games, and nobody really pays attention.
The True Lies Terminator 2 version of video game.
Now, would you ever be given, say, lines that were already recorded as reference, or the voice director would just say the lines where you were never given? There's
no in Mass Effect, when we recorded, they used something called a beta. It's called beta, and that would allow us to hear, Shepard's lines.
Oh yeah, Mark Meir, he talked about that when we taught them during an interview. Yeah,
which is great because you really knew. That's the other thing as far as like moving parts go, because there's so many options, right?
Yeah.
So when we recorded for Mass Effect, it was I knew the selects that they were taking. So I knew, okay, this is where Shepard's going with this line. I say these lines back, and we end up with a pretty cohesive thing. They've narrowed their choices down that way, right? And their selects of what lines they're going to use. Right. In this situation, that was not the case. We didn't use anything like that. So a lot of times it was just about giving choice and having Cal. I mean, originally Cal made up some of the dish lines because we didn't have them. So he was not only acting his ass off, but also improvising a lot of this stuff.
And to jump on something you mentioned earlier, when Courtney said we'd record for 4 days, 4 hours a day, and we'd get done 800 to 1,000 lines, they would take those lines back and play the shit out of those lines. So even though, because of all the moving parts, especially in this vast and this expansive of an action role-playing game, when they took those lines, they took them back. They had beta testers rolling 24/7 apparently, and whatever didn't work, whatever didn't match, they got sent back.
Oh wow!
And ironically enough, because of Cal's being so awesome, it didn't happen very often.
Okay,
right.
They would take that 1,000 lines, beta test the shit out of it. If it all checked out, boom, here's the next batch of 1,000 lines, and they beta test the shit out of that.
Sheesh.
Wow, that is meticulous.
Yeah, that really is.
Yeah.
I was humbled and intimidated by the ridiculousness. This is also a question for people on an answer for people on Twitter who've been asking, and I can't speak for you.
You might be,
but I haven't played 1 millisecond of Fallout 4.
Really?
I've never played the game. I don't know anything about the practical gameplay or anything.
I am the last person that they're going to be like, hey, did you want to do some QA? Button? Okay, wait.
Right.
No.
It's A. No, just hit A. But
we've
okay, so you haven't. We haven't. People think we secretly get flown in some private Ari Gold from Entourage jet back to Maryland, and we play for a couple of days. We get loaded and whatever, and then we go back home. None of that. We don't do that. It's only the people in Bethesda have played the games, like their beta testers and their higher ups, and people like Emil and Mark Lampert and Will Shen, and I'm sure Todd Howard.
Yeah.
So I haven't played any of the games.
And Bruce.
Oh yeah, by the way, Brian, who's also known as Chappie, He
Love that.
wrote a lot of scenes. We got Ferret, Liam, Corey, our people from Bethesda. I always had somebody from Bethesda live on the phone listening to Cal give direction to me and every take I gave.
Wow.
And there was always support from Bethesda on the ground every minute.
Really? Because when I was in, they were like, well, we have to watch Brian like a hawk, but we're going to go get lunch while you do it because no.
Courtney has a little more experience
That's
than
not
I
true.
do.
I'm just giving him.
She's not lying, though. I usually, because I have kids, this is a practical reality. Because I have kids and I get up at 5:30 every day, I usually got the morning shift.
I see.
And
The few times
and
I
I
got
have-
the morning shift, they were like, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
fuck
not going
this.
to work. No.
So what happened was, that's why I got everybody on the horn. But once Cal was comfortable with every context, every piece of pre-life information lines, they usually loosened up the reins. If they could sit in, they would sit in because they loved listening to Courtney Taylor deliver their lines perfectly. But I got everybody because I was in the morning. So
That's not true. He's absolutely lying. They were on the line all the time. I have to just say, like, it always blows me away to watch like the credits roll on a video game because there's just thousands of people.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And Bethesda is has crafted this. They are so into what you guys want. They're very aware of you guys on the internet, and they're really respectful, and they really love the fans, the people that play this game. They're really. Again, like I put it on Twitter and I was like, I can't say what the circumstance is, but I was really touched at how important and how in high regard they hold the players, the fans that are into this franchise and all their franchises, but this is the experience.
I'll say it so you don't have to sound like you're letting something out of the bag. I know for a fact that Todd Howard has such a level of respect for the Fallout fans that I'm going to divulge. You think I shouldn't?
Oh.
I'm going to divulge.
Oh.
It's not gameplay. It's a compliment that I think that I would love to share with you.
Okay.
Todd Howard himself believes the Fallout fans are really smart.
Yeah.
And he told us, we hear that you've been really, really reaching out and getting reached out from the audience. Take care of them. They're incredible fans, and they're really smart. And he obviously cares.
He said, always be respectful.
Always be respectful.
And because they're
ABR,
really
baby.
smart and always treat them as such.
Always treat them as such. You memorized the line. I didn't even memorize the line.
I only.
It was an emotional thing.
I'm off the book.
It's just you have a guy helming a team who all believe the same thing. The tweet that sums it, or I think it was a tweet long ago, and long ago for me is like 2.5 months because this ride started then.
Yeah.
It's like Bethesda heard every one of the fans' requests and made them all. They really do listen, and they really do care about their audience and their fans. And just know that from the top, Todd Howard himself, or as he's known affectionately, God Howard.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he showed such a level of care and passion from a creator of content and a creator of something really good and really profound, that it affected us emotionally. I mean, it was just amazing. So
It's affecting me emotionally right now. I mean,
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
let this be a quote, and let it not come from me. Just write it down. Don't let it be a soundbite because I don't want to be attached to it. Todd Howard has your back, Fallout fans.
Oh God!
I'm serious.
Start photoshopping.
Don't.
It's gonna be Todd Howard.
Todd Howard
giving
has
you a back rub.
Todd Howard has your back, baby.
All
wow.
right.
No, that's great to hear. I mean, I definitely feel the honesty that's coming out from your words, and I really do feel it from just how active they've been on social media and the responding to the people. And I've talked to some people at Bethesda, and they're just I think you hit it on the nail. So thank you for sharing that.
Out to Uncle Pete.
That's right.
Hines, the man himself. 450,000 requests a day.
Wow.
All right, so we're kind of running a bit short on time here, so if we could try to move through the next few questions as quickly as we possibly can to get to some of the community questions that we have later on at the end here.
Yeah, Ronan's like, I got tickets.
No,
Go
Fine.
for it.
I just want to make sure that everybody here has, time to get their questions in as we go through this and not, miss any chance to do that. So I want to keep this thing rolling to get through all those. So Jen, your next question?
Oh yeah, so we did just talk about how close you guys are with the writers and your voicing director. And you said that the characters are so much like your personality, but did you get any creative input maybe to what is actually being said, or is it just the writers feeding you guys lines and you guys say it how you want it? Or did you actually have some input?
There was some adjustments made when we thought, that maybe the music would be a little bit different coming from a woman's mouth as opposed to a man's mouth. I think there was some. It was nice that they, certain games will have really clean lines. It wasn't like we just like improv and we're like, this is what I feel like,
Yeah,
my
that never
character
happened.
would never say that, anything like that. But it was that idea of like some games have really clean lines. You don't hear a lot of efforts. You don't hear breathing. It's not very naturalistic. It's very just cut and dry. And I think they wanted us to have that natural feel. So there are stutters and stammers and pauses like where we would normally say that. I've worked on television shows where if you leave too much space, like your character's about to say a line and is thinking about it, that the script supervisor will come out and be like, yes, the line is actually, I'm like, well, what did I just say? Pause in there and there's no comma. And you're like, okay, all right. And that's what that's totally cool. But that was not this. It was very much as organic as possible.
And gritty and muddy with some of the speech. I mean, testify if it's your experience, but it doesn't sound like hello, how are you? No, there's no line that sounds mechanical or
Right.
overly clean. It's like it sounds like real speech, just like
It's
mine.
just raw.
Try to
Yeah.
get
Good word.
immersive in every sense of the of gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
I
So
see.
I think
Which is awesome.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
See, look at we're cooking now.
Yes. And now we're rolling.
Now we're rolling. All right. So my next question, I'm going to skip through a couple of mine because a lot of these have already been answered for my questions. So, with the sheer amount of lines that we talked about to accommodate the amount of player choice and the branching story arcs, was it difficult for either of you to understand the sort of inflection that you would need to deliver some of those lines?
Cal.
Cal, that's the answer. So no.
Yeah. Just hey, all right.
Kal-El, son of Jor-El.
Son of Jor-El, the real Superman.
It's written. I mean, the writers did a really good job.
They really
and
did.
And
Yeah.
what I understand, because they were so hands-on and getting our stuff and really working with it immediately, I think that they, over the process of the 2 years, that they managed to, and I don't know this for a fact, this was what I understand, is that they started to write, I think, a little bit more to maybe our sound or our particular way of talking.
Sure.
And we also, started to move towards that as well. So
Right.
the writers and us managed to kind of dovetail nicely. I think it was not any of the writers being like, nope, these are my words and this is what they're going to say. And it was collaborative and in the passing back and forth of it. And never did I feel like where it was like, I don't get how this line is supposed to be delivered. It was either written in a way that I could really understand it, or else Cal would help us through it, or else they were open to making adjustments to make it sound organic.
Yeah.
And like I said, there was a few times where if the inflection went up in an odd way that didn't mesh well with the response from the NPC,
Taken
they
back.
sent it back.
Yeah.
Sent it back.
That makes
I see.
sense.
So that happens so rarely because, like Courtney said, the writing was so good, and Cal had a sense of the pre-life and the environment. So
Wow. Very cool.
All right. Oh, that's awesome. Definitely appreciate that. All right, Yang, your next question?
Okay, so this question, feel free to be as vague as possible. If you feel it's spoilery, please feel free to skip it. Whatever you got to do. We want to get you in trouble.
but
Now, a lot of people they focus on the parents, the protagonists, but I find the child very intriguing. The fact that these they're not just married. They actually had a child. And I'm thinking to myself, why did they include this child? And of course, you don't have to answer that. But my question is, can you confirm at least or deny if this child is more than just, oh, look at this cool thing we can do with this child. His face changes based on how you customize these characters. Is he more than that? Is he, does he play a role other than just some physical entity? I guess that's the full extent. You can't.
Oh, wow.
I gotcha.
Yeah, that's all right. That's okay.
That's
I-
interesting.
That's okay.
If I imply one way or the other, it is going to shape your idea of what's coming, and I really want to be respectful of not.
No, sure, absolutely.
Question. Go on.
In all honesty, I am dying with every fiber of my being to answer that question,
Okay.
Yeah.
and I'm not gonna.
Okay. I'm gonna.
It's all
Just
right.
Trust us that just play
Okay.
the game.
Yeah.
Don't
No.
even-
Okay. No.
It's
Fair
it's
enough.
totally understandable.
Let me
Totally
tell you
understandable.
my theory, though. I have a theory about this.
Yes, that's
And-
good.
They shut off our video.
So,
You're gonna read
Okay.
it on our faces.
the way I picture it is, in Fallout 3, you play as the child. You were born, and then you get to customize the child's face, and the dad's face actually morphs a bit based on how you customize your baby. So my theory is that you'll play as the parents, and then you'll see the child at one point grown up, and he will have features. It'll be sort of like a reverse of Fallout 3, where instead of the dad being a character being morphed based on the child, it's going to be the child somehow. He's somehow going to survive. I don't know the blast. He'll grow up, and then he'll show up, and then his face will, I guess, be based on, how you customize the male and female, and then they'll have some kind of interaction. I feel like there's some kind of opposites thing going on here. But that's just a theory. I could be completely wrong. I could be crazy.
You can't hear them.
Interesting theory.
Anyone else?
Next question.
Well played. Well played.
I love how he set us up. He wants to see our faces when he says this theory. And
Yeah, I didn't get anything. I got nothing.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, when am I going to have for lunch?
Nice try,
There's
though.
been a lot of really good theories.
Okay.
There's been a lot of really good
Yeah.
theories. I'm always
Yeah.
interested to hear.
Yeah, well-
I think you guys.
We'll definitely be respectful towards that, and we're just looking forward to it.
You know, Pete Hines was. I read an article where Pete Hines was addressing that issue. That at it wasn't Quake. Maybe it was QuakeCon.
Mhm.
There was a lot of gameplay, not a lot of backstory.
Yeah.
And he said it best in this article, and I'm paraphrasing. Forgive me, Pete.
Sure.
You don't want to. Just play the game and enjoy it. You don't want me to say anything about it. Enjoy the ride. He didn't say any of those words, but
Sure.
the idea was just trust Uncle Pete. You know what I mean? Because you don't want to know. The theorizing must be fun.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I almost envy your position that you just are salivating for 2 more months over what this could be.
Yeah.
I envy that position that you have. But just rest easy that you won't be disappointed.
Oh, that's good.
That's a
good to hear.
good answer. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, it's a
and
fantastic
Sorry
answer.
if I put you in a tough spot or anything. I didn't mean to do that.
It's not.
By the way.
It's like being on a roller coaster. You can look at the roller coaster beforehand and be like, okay, like I know we're gonna go up on this hill and then we're gonna have a big dip down. I personally am like, I'm not looking at the roller coaster when
Just
I'm
go in
waiting. When I'm waiting in line, I'm like, it's gonna be super fun. It's
Yeah.
gonna be awesome. It's gonna be a great ride. And the less that I look and try and figure out what that ride's gonna feel like, the better the ride is because you are just like, oh, it's happening now. That's my
Fair
thing.
enough.
The reality is, and I don't have a lot of experience gaming. Just relax.
That's done. We're done.
I don't have a lot of experience gaming, but all the spoilers are going to be broadcast on the internet 72 hours after November 10th,
Yep.
midnight,
Yeah.
right?
Sure.
Pretty
Just
much.
keep yourself off the internet. Let's go Flintstone caveman style and
I
just not
said-
use the internet.
Go to Costco, get your snacks,
Yeah.
get your and
Go into your makeshift Fallout shelter vault
Yeah, there we go.
and just enjoy the ride because
Yeah.
you'll enjoy it.
Okay.
It's
Fair
not-
enough.
Sounds good. Sounds
Thank
good.
you. We'll do. We'll do.
All right, so we're gonna move down to our last few questions here. Then we're gonna get into the community questions. So, Jen, what is your next question?
what was I going to say? Oh, yeah. Did you guys have any memorable experiences or favorite characters or something that really stuck out from your previous work or even through Fallout 4?
Not from Fallout 4. That's not true, but I'm not going to talk about Fallout 4. I mean, Jack is a high point of my. Obviously, BioWare gave me a really awesome, juicy character. They gave me Juhani beforehand, which was also an awesome, juicy character. I definitely love those characters that struggle with being, kind of drawn to the dark side or the light side. I think that's the most fascinating thing about life is that you can make certain choices. Like, this is probably too much information, but I'm kind of obsessed with. I'm really obsessed with prison shows, and because it's this idea that like good people can do bad things, and it doesn't make them a thoroughly bad person. It just means like the circumstances, the choices that they made. I mean, I think that's what's so incredibly fascinating about video games now is that you play through based on your choices, and stuff happens, and you can't change that. Like you made that choice, and now your path is altered. And so any characters that I've gotten to play, and I've gotten to play a few now that I think I tend to gravitate towards these characters and they gravitate towards me, is that struggle of like your whole life could change in one day. You could make a particular choice and something is going to be altered forever in your life and everybody else's. There was a movie called Sliding Doors, and that whole idea is...
That's the last movie I would picture you watching.
You get on one train and something, your whole life is different. You get on another train, so you meet a totally different person.
Now I want to meme with Jack and Juhani and Sliding Doors.
I know, just or like in prison, just holding prison hands. But those kind of characters are the ones that I'm really drawn to, and I feel like with Juhani and with Jack, especially, I got the opportunity to play those characters that were fighting against circumstances that maybe occurred bigger than they were, and how it turned out.
Yeah,
so.
I see.
Oh, that's a great answer.
Fallout 4. Ask me after.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Of course.
But it was an experience on a job I've never had before, and it was the first time where I'm like, I need a minute. Like that was the first time I ever had to do that. It was on Fallout 4, and ask me in December if you're interested.
We'll do.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll do. We will do, definitely. So my next, my last few questions here are not necessarily Fallout centric for both of you. I'll ask you guys individually these questions. So this one's directed towards Courtney. There was an announcement of the Resident Evil 2 remake that came out a few weeks ago. That was announced a few weeks ago. And for those of you who don't know, Resident Evil 2 was Ada Wong's debut appearance in the series. So my question is, would you be interested in coming back to do voice work for Ada in this new Resident Evil 2 remake?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Ada was really different than a lot of the characters that I've gotten to play. She was super cool and had it all together. And, people ask a lot, like, what's been your favorite character? And I have learned something new on almost every single character that I've played. And Ada was definitely a departure for me. Actually, when I was in the audition for Ada, I almost was like, hey, guys, I don't think this is really working, so I'm going to go. I didn't do it, but I felt like it was such a departure, and like vocally speaking, she doesn't have any texture. She's pitched up higher than I am. She's cool and confident, and like, she jumps off a 10-story building and she's like,
what ifs?
And so to play her, to get to play her was awesome because it was so much of a different experience. So if they would have me back, I'd be happy to do it.
Oh, that's awesome.
After that would say, nah, fuck that job. I'd never want to do it again.
I mean, I'm pretty honest, and
No, you are. I'm just saying, like, can you imagine, like, hey, would you ever want to play this character again? Nah, never mind.
No.
Imagine the alternative response would be a nightmare.
No, we've had a couple of actors joking around and just straight out went, nah.
Nah.
And just looked at the reactions in our faces like, oh.
Oh, okay. They didn't mean it though.
Yeah, no,
Like,
they didn't mean it.
they were
No,
messing with
absolutely
us the whole time. Yeah, they didn't mean it. But yeah, it's just interesting to see what they say about that at least.
not. Yeah, it's just they like to see our reactions to that. And it's
Kind of like what you did with your theory, right?
Yeah, exactly. See, there we go. Didn't work out for me, but you know.
He gave it a shot. That's all that matters. That's all.
Yeah.
All right. So actually, I'll throw this one over to Yang.
Okay. So I think a lot of people want to just get your backgrounds as gamers. Have you guys played any games? Any old ones, new ones, whatever? Any particular ones that you like? Have you played Fallout?
Mario Brothers. No.
Well, that's a great game.
Mario. You want to answer
this
first?
is where I'm so disappointing. Yeah, it's going to be a really short answer. I am not a gamer per se.
Mm-hmm.
I am on my journey. I spend a lot of time. By the time I get home, like I'm lucky enough to work a lot. And I was actually talking to a couple of other video game actors, and I was like, "How do you guys end up like squeezing more like game time? Because they're working just as much as I am.
Mm-hmm.
We're driving all over LA. By the time I get home, and like God forbid, try and go to the gym or something like that, it's 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, and then I got to prep my auditions for the next day. And they're like, we stay up till 4 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, man, I can't do that. No, they don't have kids, but I decided that I wanted to. I usually sit and watch cutscenes. I'll look up the cutscenes, and I got pretty burned at a convention. They had one of those buses where they brought Halo, and you could go on the bus and play. And I just gotten like embarrassingly murdered in front of like multiple times, where people came up afterwards, like days afterwards, and were like, "Yeah, I saw you on the bus." God, wow. I was like screaming. They were like, "You might have been screaming a little bit." I'm like, okay. So now I've realized that there are certain games that I like to play. So I've got Assassin's Creed, and I've got Rise, Son of Rome, and I'm working on my technique with Rise, Son of Rome this week because it's a lot of just stabbing and running.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
So I find it difficult to look at all the other things around the screen sitting next to me.
I gotcha.
Look at your health, and I'm like, I can't. I'm killing people. And so I can only focus on the killing or look at the other things. So I'm trying to work out my multitasking. But
it's muscle memory. It'll come to you. It'll click one day.
Yellow, blue, yellow, blue, yellow, blue.
Exactly. Yeah.
Shield, stab.
Up, down, left, right. And
That's
here
right.
we are.
That's right.
Got cheat codes. There you go.
And what about you, Brian? Oh,
in like 2 months.
Oh yeah.
I'm going on a show where I have to play. I'm going to be doing Twin Galaxies in the next couple of weeks.
Oh, get out, really?
Wow.
And it's going to be mortifying.
Oh, that's
so,
great, though.
watch me get my ass handed to me
Twin
multiple
Galaxies.
times.
It's very cool.
So,
Cool. Thank you. What about you, Brian? What
Brian?
do you enjoy?
How's it going?
It's not a whole lot more than Ms. Taylor's. The Fallout 3, and forgive me, Fallout fans, I haven't been able to get too far into it. I mean, it's what Courtney said. You work, you prep the next day, you do your day to day, and I try to find time, but I go to bed. This is why
Yeah. I mean.
I don't lead a sexy life. I go to bed at like 9:30 or 10. 5:30. But it's not to
Work
do
out.
anything special. I don't work it.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know.
I don't work
He's
out.
making
It's just
oatmeal. He's
I'm-
got like
yeah.
his Mr. Mom.
I'm making eggs and pancakes on Saturdays. So I don't have a whole lot of time, but I can say I am looking forward to playing Fallout 4. And my wife's going to understand. We're saving up money for therapy for all 3 of my sons. It's going to be my dad, 16. It's going to be one of those things.
Daddy went away for about a year and a half.
I'm in the garage, but I never talk to them anymore. Yeah, got this whole setup in the garage where I'm going to game Fallout 4, but
You can Skype with them.
I could Skype
There we go.
Skype him from the garage.
for like 5 years. By the time my son's 11, he can play with me on another thing.
That is true.
But I'm really looking
Kick your
forward.
butt on another thing
I
is
know.
what's going to
He's
happen.
smart. Yeah. I'm looking forward to Star Wars Battlefront.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Nice.
I've shared this before, man. just I'm hoping they're all gameplay, but some of the scenes that I've seen come out of the game are just like I was salivating over them, like the Hoth sequence and I presume it's Endor sequence, and I'm really looking forward to that game. Historically, though, like I said, it's been several years. I didn't own a PS3. That's how far. But I played on the PS2. I played Star Wars Battlefront 1 and 2.
Okay.
I loved Grand Theft Auto Vice City.
Absolutely.
Nice.
I loved The Godfather. I'm a fan of the movie.
Oh man, that's great.
Nice.
And I loved the shit out of that game. You know, I liked movie tie-in games for a while. Back in 2003, I played like Lord of the Rings video games. Like I liked the adventure and tying into the movies. But if I had to pick three or four, Fallout's now at the top of the list, and not just because I'm a little bit biased, but definitely Star Wars Battlefront. I'm looking forward to that because of my history, and I'm a Star Wars fan. But yeah, Vice City, my wife and I. Vice City was so awesome. And by the way, when you go back and play like a Grand Theft Auto Vice City now from 12, 15 years ago or whatever, it's so amazing that it looks like your contacts are cloudy and like
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, it's weird.
It's like, what is wrong with my face? Like, is this? But back then, I got into a hunter attack helicopter and was blowing people away. My wife hated her job at the time. I'm not going to say which job. She used to come home. This is revealing, and forgive me, honey, if you watch. She used to come home and get so angry. She'd just get a sniper rifle, go to the top of a building. She didn't play the game. She just did these two things. Got a sniper rifle, went to the top of a building, and just started decapitating people. And she would take brass knuckles and run down the street in that great Vice City way and just tink, tink. It was just like, that game to me was just like years of my life that it was just like incredible.
Yeah.
So in a nutshell, those were my gaming experiences. But I go all the way back to, and I wasn't a super heavy gamer, but I go all the way back to my favorite experience was like Metroid.
Oh man.
Nice.
Loved Metroid, loved
Great
of course
game.
Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
And all that stuff. But mostly it's like Godfather, Star Wars, and
Grand Theft Auto.
Fallout.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, no,
That's
Grand Theft Auto is a great game to let out some anger.
Yes, big time.
Just
They steal their wallets. I'm in.
okay. Perfect.
and there you go.
All right, Jen, your next question.
My next question was probably going to be, besides Fallout, do you guys have any upcoming projects or work in the future that you might want to share with us? Yeah.
Well, Mad Max just dropped.
Oh yeah.
So about to
Right.
go.
That's
And
awesome.
hugely fun to work on. I play Max's love interest Hope in the game, and we got to do a few days of motion capture on that, and that was incredibly fun to be running around volume. You know, again, it comes back to that punching people in the face.
How can it be?
It was like, you know, being like 8 years old, running around and getting to hit your friends with sticks and stuff. It was cool. I like that. So that game just came out, and I'm going to be the female player voice for the captain of the Browncoats in the Firefly Online game. That does not have a release date, but I'm very excited. I just went to Dragon Con and got to meet the guys from Sparkplug Games and do a panel about that. They're bringing the original cast from the show into the game, so that's pretty exciting.
Mhm.
A great franchise to be a part of, so I'm excited about that. And I have a fun role coming out in a game that drops at the end of the month that I can't say what it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
It comes out at the end of this month, and it's a small role but an iconic role, and I'm really
She's a female Deathclaw in Fallout 5.
Fallout 5 coming out next month. Okay.
Yep, there you go.
Before Fallout 4.
That's right.
Oh, that's awesome.
I get to be a part of the Halo universe.
Ah, yes.
Halo.
I have a couple of scenes in Halo 5 Guardians, which comes out October 27th.
Yes.
That's when that drops. I know all the terms.
Yeah, that's
Launching
right.
and
Do you hurt your shoulder?
a little bit. I pulled my rotator cuff from being cool. I'm not cool. But Halo 5 Guardians is coming out, and I got to work mocap on that game.
Oh,
Performance
wow.
cap.
Nice.
I joined the universe in Halo 4 Spartanoffs.
Yes.
I have a special place in my heart for that universe. What else? I can't really say anything else.
Okay.
I do additional voices in animated features, but that's about it.
That's all right. That's great.
So
That's
good.
great.
I was
Love
additional
that guy.
voices, me and 30 other people. They were all.
That's fantastic. All right, so for my last question here, you just talked about Halo 5 Guardians. So my question here, feel free to, if you can't talk about this, it's totally fine. But would you say that Roland, the character that you're the voice of, does he have more of a significant role this time around as opposed to the Spartan Ops that he was in Halo 4?
MDA or
What would? I have to choose my words carefully. I don't think it's typically. I want to say this. I didn't work too many days. I didn't work too many days on the project, so I don't want to say yes or no because I honestly don't know.
That's okay. That's all right.
Except to say this, I had. Can I say?
Don't say it if you have the question in your mind.
Yeah, if you can't say it, it's totally fine.
It's already out that Dr. Catherine Elizabeth Halsey's in the game, right?
If it's
Okay.
not, it's out now.
I mean, she's been part of it since Halo 4 anyway, so everybody knows at this point.
Okay, yes, obviously. I had a scene with her, the great Jen Taylor. Fantastic actress, fantastic performer. That actually surprised me, and it surprised Jen Taylor. I must love working with Taylors. But yeah, all I can say is that But it's really ultimately up to Microsoft Game Studios and 343 if they used whatever take. I wouldn't know.
Right.
But I can't honestly answer that question. I can't say
No,
that.
it's totally fine.
I didn't work a hell of a lot on that particular project, but my presence was definitely there.
okay.
So I hope that non-answer answers your question.
No, it's totally fine. I knew that question would probably, have a bit of an NDA behind it, but just see what you were allowed to say, and I
It'll give
definitely
fans
appreciate
something
you
to
taking a
ponder
chance.
upon. So
Yeah, that's fine.
always
It's
good.
fine.
To
Yeah.
theorize like I do and try to see reactions on faces.
Yeah. All right. So with that said, I guess we could probably move on to some community questions here, y'all.
Yeah, sure. Well, actually, one last question that I have is:
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
if you pitch, this is an important question. If you pitch the male and the female protagonist at level 100 against each other, who would win? Bam.
You want to answer?
Dude, this is a non-win question. Either one of us gives. One of us is going to look a bit douchey. I'll say this. I can't answer that question. I can't answer that question because I have seen a little, like a shade more than zero of her performance. But I'll ask me again in January
Okay.
All right.
because I
that's fair.
can't answer
Sure.
that question. Courtney Taylor can kick Brian T. Delaney's ass, but I don't know. I don't. She,
Well, we're talking about
she,
characters.
she coached boxing for crying
That
out
is
loud.
true. You know what?
Character-wise, I can't answer that question until I play as the female protagonist and I'm able to weigh. So
Okay.
you may have
And
to call
isn't
me
it-
up.
Isn't based on your choices anyway. So
That's true.
it's not, I mean, it wouldn't be anything that we would know because it's based on what you guys decide to
Right.
do.
Mhm.
It's your character. So, maybe you make your character your male character super wimpy. And I'm just saying, because it's not a static character, you can't really answer that question.
Yeah, honestly, it's
But I could,
level. She can kick my ass. Level. Honey, she meant nothing to me. So the answer to your question, honestly, Young, is it female or male protagonist at level 100 that you would play, Ronan would play, or Jen would play? I mean, that's as legitimate a question, really, right?
That's true. Yeah.
So, I mean, it's all up to you.
Counter question. I see. Yeah, we're playing tennis now.
But I
There you
did
go.
question.
Knocking it back.
I concede this game. All right, so now we are going to dive to some community questions. I've
right.
got a couple here from YouTube. Sir Spookyface15 from YouTube asks, well, actually, I guess this question was kind of answered. He says, what did you initially think of your roles, and then what do you think of them now? but I know, like Courtney, you said it actually turned out to be very much what you expected it to be, whereas Brian, you said it was a brighter sort of palette than you expected. Is there anything maybe more you could add to that?
Character. It's when you say character or game, like game design.
Oh yeah, of your roles.
Yeah.
What do you think of you?
The role wasn't a surprise only because Cal directed me to do this, bring yourself to the role kind of thing. So it was the world that I was kind of impressed by and surprised by. But the role, the only evolution that I could talk about is like I felt a lot more secure about keeping my job year 2 than I did year 1.
Fair enough.
All I can say.
Sure.
No, I mean, I said my highfalutin ideas about the character did fall away a little bit.
Sure. Cool. Reese Turner from YouTube asks, oh no, this question was also already answered. Are you a Taco Bell motherfucker? Which, lots of thumbs up on this one, by the way.
Yep.
He was actually laughing because he walked in and I was eating a burrito.
Really?
But I do.
Can you believe that?
I grew up in the Mission in San Francisco. I am a connoisseur of great Mexican food.
Oh, well done.
And so, it's a mainstay in my house. Not so much of the Taco Bell variety, but
Okay.
yes, I am a badass motherfucker that tends to eat Mexican food.
She a bad motherfucker.
It's not quite the same rap to it, but you know.
She a bad motherfucker.
So there you have it, folks. SMB 8000 from YouTube. If you were to play Fallout 4 right now, which gender would you pick first? Would you maybe want to see the other, your companion's performance, or would you just want to see who your character is?
I would totally pick Brian.
Yeah?
I'm just dying of curiosity to hear. I mean, I already lived through the experience of playing the female character, and I think he's incredibly talented and funny and has a lot of levity. And I know the kind of choices that I made, and so I would absolutely play him first.
Yeah.
Well, you convinced me. I'm going to play as me too. Well, I didn't know it was like that. Okay, I'll play. So, I'm kind of on the fence. I usually, I don't know. I mean, I'm curious to know. I'm curious to meet everybody I've been talking to in my own voice.
Sure.
Where I may play as myself. Mm-hmm. There's no way in hell I'm putting the game down until I play as the female protagonist.
Right.
But I've been kind of getting to know these NPCs in every capacity a game character could possibly know them. That I may play as myself first, just to explore the relationship that I've had with them over the 2 years without knowing any information or seeing one piece of
Right.
But definitely going to play as Courtney. So
I gotcha.
You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah, so initially you'd
sense.
start out as the male character out of curiosity see how your performance maybe was meshed with these other people's performances and whatnot.
I used to know what my wife thinks too, so I may just
I see. Okay.
out of the way, but we'll see. It could go either way.
Sure. Let's see, what else do we have? 2197 scrolls from YouTube. What are some other characters you would love to voice in the future? If you could choose any character. Ooh, that's a stopper right there.
It's a tough one.
That's a tough one because most of the characters that I really enjoy, my friends and other actors have already done
She's
that.
going to put him out of work if she gets this wish.
Or they've already done it in a way that I couldn't do. I mean, I think, Laura Bailey and Jennifer Hale and Kimberly Brooks, so many people, Allie Hillis, Kat Tabor, they all play amazing characters that I would love to, I'd love to be able to step into those shoes for a while. I mean, who doesn't want to be Lightning and Fantasy or whatever, or Shep or, hi, Vesper.
I mean, yeah, it's a difficult question. It's a difficult question for Hammond Eggers and awesome voice actors to answer, only because if we like an iconic character, we like it as it is.
I see.
And the other thing is, and maybe this may resonate with you too, Courtney, but we don't know what it is yet until we get it. And did Troy Baker know that Joel at the beginning of his process, I never haven't met him yet, but I'm guessing. I don't know if he knew the impact that character, that iconic character in video gaming, was going to have until everybody was playing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, I know that I'm now salivating for, wow, I'd love to have a role where I can, and it's an unnamed role. Maybe it hasn't been created yet. It's a role that some game designer, programmer, animator, and writer is out there making it, and maybe I fit their voice 5 to 10 years from now, and it's a role that's like Uncharted meets The Last of Us meets a Die Hard video game from 1988. Who knows? I don't know. You know what I mean? So I mean,
that's
we're always just working.
Yeah, no, that's a fair answer.
Absolutely.
And a very some of the actors out there do say, I would love to play this character and that character, but that's equally a valid an answer, and it's very interesting to hear. So and that concludes, I think, that concludes all of the questions that I have. Do you guys have any lingering questions?
No, that's it. If you want to.
No, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So to conclude our interview, we would love to hear some lines in your character voice, and it'll be interesting because we really haven't heard much from the female protagonist, and it'll be interesting to see how that sounds. So I put some of the dialogue on the Skype message. If you guys are, I could just feed them to you if you guys are far away from the screen. Can you guys see it?
Is it in the chat now?
Yeah, it's on, I put it up on the Skype chat. Should be, yeah.
Full screen, yeah. Hold on.
Okay.
You mean? Okay. Hold on. You know what? You may have to feed them to us.
Okay, sure, that's fine. I'll feed them to you.
All right.
So this first line we would love to get from both of you. It's "Let's go, pal."
I want to hear you do it.
Go, pal.
Oh, did you hear that?
Damn.
He's
That
gonna
was
get
great.
No, that was good.
We couldn't hear that. We couldn't hear that.
Yeah,
sound.
we didn't hear the second one.
Can you do it again? Because that was badass. And I think I fucked up the thing if modders want to use it. Because I spontaneously enjoyed myself.
Brian,
Do it.
let's go, pal.
Ugh.
That's great. That's great.
Oh man,
Great. Damn,
that was
boy.
awesome.
If you want like,
Did you hear that shit?
Yeah, that was badass.
That was badass. Notes. That's a bunch of bullshit notes. Forget that acting teacher.
forget that mean man.
That mean man. Oh, me too. Didn't
Yes.
Let's go now.
A little louder, please. We could not hear that one.
All right.
Can you give me
See
an
how
AB?
branded?
Can you give me an
AB.
ABC?
Give me an AB. Act more. Be better. Let's go, pal.
Oh, that was great.
Awesome.
That was fantastic.
God, both of them are equally badass.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I
God.
can't choose. Second line. Ready to.
My voice. It's the same voice you just heard for the last 2 hours.
All right.
It's not like I was like, let's go.
I don't know. Hearing you say that, it was just like the estrogen and testosterone in the room just started battling like
No, there was a.
like Pacific Rim battles in an ocean. It was
Yeah, no,
awesome. Did you hear that? That was
I
awesome.
definitely. I got that vibe. No,
That was
it,
badass.
it was a different Courtenay, definitely, when you said
Absolutely.
"Let's go, pal." It was.
Like you were like world weary, and there's the dog.
No.
Physically.
He's super physical, and that was the thing. It was hilarious because he's a really physical actor, and Cal would always say that, but I was always the one that would hit my face on the filter. Spent a lot of time. One day we had like I don't know what was wrong with me, but we had like a Post-it note where we were just doing, hash marks on how many times I would walk into the
Really?
Brian is the one who's supposed to be hitting the mic because he's like this, but he manages to avoid it. And I'm like, kook.
Do we have a tally count that you can give us?
A what?
Do you have a tally count that you can give us for how many?
Most I hit myself in the face in one day. 6 times.
6 times.
6 times.
And like the engineer was just like, move this.
That's-
And he would move it and I would adjust myself so I would continue to. And like, it's not always, but I am a little bit clumsy in the booth. And many times, for a while, I was putting up Post-it notes of the direction that I would get. And there's a lot of like, do not move. You are tethered to the head cam. Do not try and sit down. Like, I always have things, they do a lot of facial recognition stuff now. And so we'll have certain like ear things that go over. And I'm always like, what? Oh God, sorry. A lot of really patient engineers out there that are just like, oh, I didn't. I'm like, I'm so sorry. Did I ruin something?
No. Please. All right. So the next line is ready to fuck shit up.
I gotta hear you say that.
Dude, okay, so here's the thing, is like, this is all
they have to go on, though.
I know, but I don't say this all you have is, the only things you've heard me say is, such a cute nose.
Ain't it, though?
Yeah, like, that's what I'm saying, but it doesn't necessarily say the game, but I do love this, but I always want to just be like, ready to fuck some shit up? Woo! But
We could use that one too.
That's pretty
That works. Hey, no complaints over here.
Yeah.
Louise's version.
totally. Ready to fuck some shit up?
Never mind. I'm going to play as the female first. That's hot. That's badass.
It
That's
is.
bad.
It rather is.
It's a badassery. Ready to shut up.
Sorry, couldn't hear it.
I gotta talk louder.
We'll cut off. Just a little bit.
Rejection. I'm physical. I need to stand up and do shadow boxing.
We understand.
You ready to fuck some shit up?
Awesome.
Awesome.
Yes, that one.
That was fantastic.
Yeah, that
yes.
was great. Next line is, it's good to be back.
Is what?
It's good to be back.
Oh man. Dude, that moment was freaking badass. I'm sorry, go ahead.
It's good to be back.
Oh, that was good.
Man, seriously, I gotta walk into this.
While Brian walks, can you give us one more? Because that was a little soft.
Oh, wait.
It's good to be back.
All right, thank you.
Awesome.
Couldn't hear it, sorry.
Oh, you gotta walk in again.
This time,
Retake.
you're just gonna see this half of me.
It is hard because we usually are standing
I'm
up.
usually standing up.
I know,
Yeah.
we understand.
It's good to be back.
All right, and this one is, that was good,
Yeah, that's fantastic.
And these ones are more casual. For Brian, we have beard or no beard. Cause I love that line. I don't know why.
Can you get right behind? Can you kind of get behind? We'll do the scene.
Okay, sure.
What do you think, huh? Beard or no beard?
And then I'm gonna be the guy that screams it in the press conference. Beard! I don't know who that guy was.
And then for you, Courtney, we have such a cute nose.
You might get away from me. Such a cute nose.
Sorry, we couldn't hear that one.
That one I can't. Okay. Oh.
Sorry, we couldn't hear that one either. I'm sorry.
That's how intimate.
Such a cute nose. Such a cute nose.
That one, that one was
yeah,
perfect.
That was good.
Thank you
Just
so
good.
much.
Like we're in the sessions, we were
You did a good job.
a 25% of the volume that you need. We got to be that quiet, and it picked it up so well. You can hear all the intimacy.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wow, really?
It's good, yeah.
You got some good quality.
His
Like-
face into my microphone.
What's the matter? It's motivation. It's right there.
Snuggle in the house.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for joining us, guys.
I mean,
really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, this was awesome. One of the best interviews I've ever done. Very insightful. You guys
Yes.
are freaking hilarious, and
Yeah, that's nice.
high fives indeed.
We had a great
and,
turnout for this as well, so we do definitely appreciate the audience for coming by and watching this as well. So, yeah.
Thank you guys, and I just want to say thank you so much to everybody that's like reached out on Twitter, on all social media. We've had such fun interactions with people. You guys are smart asses. You're smart. You're funny. The photoshops are hilarious. The funny questions are hilarious, and I really appreciate people who said, I had my doubts about a voice protagonist and have given us good feedback so far. I really hope that you enjoy the hell out of the game, and please, keep talking, keep staying in touch. I've had such a good time.
Yeah.
So thanks,
Ditto
you
to
guys.
that. Todd Howard will not let you down, all of you, because he would never want to.
I believe
Yeah.
it.
I'm
I
crying.
believe it.
It's serious. It's badass. So thanks, Fallout fans, and thank you three for having us on.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
problem,
I hope
no
we can
problem.
we can have you back at
Yes.
some point after the
Yeah.
game's out, and we can
Yeah.
really like dive into these characters and see if my theory was true. See if
Yeah, we would
you
love
know.
to talk to you guys again after the game comes out for sure.
4 months, November 10th, Young. You'll find out.
All right, sounds good.
All right,
I'm looking
awesome.
forward to it. Thank you so much, guys, and have a great day.
You too.
Take care, guys.
Bye, Ronan. Bye, Young.
Take it
Thank
easy.
you.
Bye.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Awesome.
End that call with them.
Great outro.
Yeah. All right, there we go.
Ooh.
So, that was fantastic. That was a long one, but it was definitely a very informative interview that we
Yeah,
got.
time
for
kind
you
of flew
guys.
by.
Yeah.
I'm looking at my time here. It's 2 hours and 38 minutes.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, it didn't feel like that. It felt like we were like kind of cruising through, but we were getting a lot of great information on that. But yeah, Jan, what are your thoughts about the interview and having them on?
Geez, I mean, this might be one of my favorite interviews. Definitely top 2 or 3. They were just like a dynamic duo, and it's weird that they didn't record together. I thought they did, just based on how well they got along in the interview, and just their lines really did sound sort of natural. I felt in their interaction in the Fallout 4 footage we have seen thus far. So, yeah, I think that speaks volumes to not only their talent, but also, I guess, the talent of Kal-El, son of Jor-El, or what have you.
Right.
But no, truly fantastic guests. Just giving us a ton of insight. I mean, we ask one question and then answer like 3 of them in our list, and just amazing guests. And I'm looking forward to having back and talk about Fallout 4 once the game's out, once people learn about the story and all of its intricacies and whatnot. Really, really looking forward to chatting with them again, because they really wanted to say some stuff. They couldn't, I can tell.
Yeah, they definitely wanted to tell
When
us
I
a lot of
asked that
things.
baby question, they were like,
Want to tell you, but
yeah, tell you, bud. And there's definitely something to that baby. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I really do feel like there is going to be some kind of reverse Fallout 3 effect, where instead of playing, instead of playing as the children, you play as the parents, and instead of your dad being the one that evolves based on how you customize your child, it's your child that evolves based on how you customize the parents. That's my theory. But maybe I'm getting too Metal Gear here. Maybe it's this game has screwed with my mind in ways you can't possibly imagine. So that could be an after effect of that. But yeah, no, awesome interview overall, and it's unfortunate. Yeah, Daly really missed out on this one.
Yeah, he
gotta
did.
say.
I've been getting messages from him the whole time as the interview was going on, and he was being upset because we kind of missed a chance to ask his to do the quote that Jack does from Mass Effect.
Oh.
But we didn't have that in the list, so we kind of missed out on that.
Yeah.
So maybe next time, Daly, we'll have that in there. Sorry that you missed it, though. It would have been great to have you here with us, as well as have all 4 of us here. In fact, that would have been great for a great interview. But yeah, Jen, what are your thoughts on the interview?
Oh, that was a great first interview. It's like they worked together for years, but actually haven't seen much of each other. Probably a lot more now. But yeah, they were a great dynamic duo, like you said, Young, and that was they were hilarious and answering all these questions with so much information, and it was just a really dynamic interview overall. So I'm really happy we had them. And just they sound so natural with their voices. It doesn't look like they're trying at all, and it just sounds so natural. Even when they talk, they almost sound like the characters. So it was a really great experience.
Yeah.
Totally agree. The entire time, though, I kind of noticed after a while, especially when they were doing their quotes at the end, that I think the microphone in front of them wasn't on. I think it was coming through whatever they were using for the camera. It might have been the camera's microphone, for the reason why their voices were so low when they were
Really?
doing that. Yeah, I think that might not have been on the whole time. I wasn't too sure on that, which is why I didn't want to come out and say anything like, hey, guys, your mic isn't on. Considering the tech issues we had earlier, of course. So yeah, that could have been the exact reason why they had to keep doing those lines again. But overall, yeah, definitely enjoyed that. I agree with you guys 100%. They had this for 2 people that haven't really had time to sit down and talk to each other or interact with each other for the game, so to speak. Watching them and listening to them during this interview, you would think they would known each other since high school or something. they got the chemistry there was so well put together, and they definitely were excited to answer a lot of our questions that we had. Like Young said, they went through a lot of our questions that we hadn't even asked yet, which is why I was skipping through a lot of mine and trying to get to the other questions that I had. So definitely, it's always good to see voice actors and actresses that are eager to answer fans' questions. And like you said, they wanted to answer some of the questions that we asked that were spoilery, but they couldn't do that. So looking forward to having them on in the future after the game comes out to sit down and talk about the things we couldn't talk about today, and perhaps get Daly's quote in there next time we come around to that.
For sure.
I really liked what they had to say about the reasonings and just the advantages of including voices in these characters. As I was definitely skeptical at first, and there's still a bit of skepticism because we have been so used to not having voices in these characters, but I have a little more faith now after hearing what they had to say and their viewpoint on it. I think it makes a lot of sense, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how that pans out and just the performances that they give and the emotional moments. I mean, they really emphasized that we're going to get some really emotional moments in Fallout 4, which isn't something that we saw a lot in, say, like Fallout 3. I mean, or at least it didn't come through as much because I guess our protagonist wasn't voiced, and I guess that's a new advantage that Fallout 4 has that I'm really looking forward to.
Absolutely. All right then. So, any final words before we get out of here, guys?
No, just can't wait to play the game. That's all I gotta say.
Same here, and just thank you guys for tuning in. I mean, it was a long one, and I hope you're still there. I hope you guys had as much fun as we did. And just look forward to another awesome episode of the Kodak. We'll keep doing this, weekly, and it'll be great. And
absolutely,
we'll, look forward to when we have him back, and we discuss all the spoiler details, and we'll see if my theory was right, which probably isn't. Because I saw Courtney's face, and she was kind of like, "What is he talking about?"
Yeah, what is he talking about?
There was
she had
a
that
big
face, and
question
I'm
mark.
like, "Fuck." So I'm wrong. I'm pretty
Either that or
sure
she's really good at acting it up. So
maybe that's true. We'll see.
But definitely enjoyed that. I know people were kind of expecting us to do a Metal Gear spoiler-related, post show, but unfortunately, Daly's not here to join in on us on that. So, and plus, I haven't finished the game yet, which I'm hoping to do probably over the weekend, so that when we do get a chance to have that spoiler cast where we talk about the ending and our overall thoughts on the game, I'll be good to go, and hopefully Daly will be good to go too. So don't worry, that episode of the Kodak is coming soon, we promise. But just due to technical issues and stuff like that, and me being slow, we're not quite ready for that yet. And I do apologize, guys. Like I said, Daly, he's having technical issues on his end for the reason why he is not here with us right now, and the reason why I'm hosting, quote unquote, the show. So first time doing this, so it was a bit, I wasn't quite sure where to go with it and how to approach it. But I think that regardless of that, I still had a good time doing this. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it too. If not, then hey, what the hell? We'll work on that for next time. But as always, thank you guys for watching. Jen, you have an outro that you want to give us for this? This is your first one?
Oh God, I didn't even think of an outro. This is so much pressure. No, I got nothing. Just bye.
Oh no, it's totally fine.
Okay.
I got nothing. Just bye could be your outro.
There you go.
There we go. Every time.
People will totally attach to that, so it's fine.
Yeah. No, but a huge shout out to Jen for doing a fantastic job.
Thanks for having me.
Yes,
you were great,
wonderful.
and
Wonderful.
it was great to have you here. You had a lot of great questions to ask, so thank you for joining us today.
Yes.
And thank you, people, for joining us again, and look forward to the next episode. I'll see you guys next time. Young out.